Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the third round of the F1 Total Esports division. My name is Felix1. I'll be taking you through tonight's action alongside Gabri. Welcome.
Hi Felix, and yes, we are here for round three of the esports event, and this is the last round of the Middle Eastern tour. And as you can see, we are finishing this tour with Abu Dhabi. Not Abu Dhabi, actually Jeddah. Abu Dhabi was last week, and it's gonna be a special one because you may have seen it pretty much everywhere. It is gonna be a race with custom weather, and that weather will be wet. It will be wet, dry, wet. If I'm correct, Felix.
Yes, so it will be a start on light rain, and then we'll go to dry conditions, and then back to heavy rain later on. So that should be really interesting.
Yeah, you can pretty much imagine just how chaotic it is gonna be, and well, it will make for an interesting race, that's for sure. And also, maybe we could see, for all we know, big differences in qualifying and race results. Obviously, qualifying will be dry, and the drivers are gonna try to complete their best lap possible on a track that is pretty much flat out for almost its entirety. There are so many fast corners, 27 corners in total, and it's pretty much a combination of straights, snake section, a few chicanes here and there. So it's a very, very fast track. So we'll see who's fastest, but then when the rain comes, maybe that situation will be completely thrown upside down. No? So we could maybe see slower drivers at the front trying to defend their position, or faster drivers at the back trying to attack pretty much everywhere. So yeah, just very excited, and it will be very interesting. But so many drivers are retiring for some reason. What's happening?
We're in Q1 with 15 drivers. That's what's happening. So there is you're through by default. Since LR and Sierra both are with one driver for today, and XR8 have not shown up at all. So, and then also Lumi for Vlogs is late, so with that went out of 15, which means that qualifying 1 is relevant, and everyone can retire, and we can just move on to Q2 immediately.
I thought someone else was going to join later.
Well, at least quite late at this point, so it makes sense to everyone to retire.
Ah, saves us some time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be this far late, you can't really complain about missing Q1 and being knocked out.
So just waiting for Sonic and 8001. That's gonna be tough to pronunciate in the race. There you go. 8001 is done.
There we
So
go.
yeah, these are the Q1 results, everyone. Daniel is the fastest at the moment.
Well,
With a whopping lap time of 0.000.
admittedly, that is the fastest lap time I've ever seen around this track.
And so is everyone else. There's pretty much no gap at all between the drivers. They are all on the same pace, all with a zero point 0.0 with their best.
And here we go. We can now load into qualifying 2. So a bit unfortunate that so many teams are with one driver or without any drivers today.
Well, one of the teams that don't have one driver is NLR, and I think you'll be very happy about that one.
Well,
They're
because
leading
we're
the
actually
standings,
organized.
and I would call that propaganda, but it's just facts.
I mean, we do have quite a few teams actually with both drivers in. It's the only teams who don't have two drivers in right now are Vlogs, which they have a technical issue with Lumi, I believe they said. And then Sierra and uh, Sierra and Legacy Racing. They also only have one driver each with Yeah, because we don't have anyone else available, unfortunately. Yeah, and then XR8, they didn't show up at all. So they are without a driver at the moment. We'll see if any of those guys still join during qualifying. Of course, they would be allowed to drive.
So going into this race, NLR is leading the standings with 105 points, and in P2 is AMR. We have HRT and Sierra side on 49 points. Then we have Evolution Racing, GT10, XR8, Velox, IRT and Legacy Racing in last place. And yeah, after many stewards' decisions last week about all of those chaotic incidents we've seen on lap 1 and not only lap 1, yeah, there were some position changes, but NLR has made the best of it and is now currently leading with exactly 38 points. So AMR is gonna really have to try and recover that, but let's remember the point system is different from the real F1, so there is still plenty of rounds to go and a lot of chances to make up those points. But we'll see how it goes. And at the moment, David Martinez in AMR will be the first one to complete the lap. He's now at the S section. We go on board with David Martinez now, who is approaching the fast chicane of turns 16 and 17, taking in 5th gear, using that curb on the inside. And now he's on the, well, pretty much straight. It's just a combination of flat corners, turn 19 to 21. DRS enabled now, entering sector 3, braking for turn 22. And goes off track and invalidates. That's the first stop, well, not done for David Martinez.
Right, my apologies for the silence right now. I'm just trying to do the organizational work while I'm also trying to commentate, so I hope you're enjoying the radio show from Gary at the minute.
Well, I'm commentating qualifying. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I know. I'm apologizing to the viewers that I am not doing the camera work, not commentating myself.
Yeah. In the meanwhile, Alex Lamas has set provisional pole position, well, not pole position, but the fast lap time, who actually gets beaten by Nai in NLR at 27.290 against the 27.370 from Alex. We have Lars as well, so it's two NLR drivers with the lap time set as of now. Lars in P3, we're at 27.5, so it's 3/10 from his teammate. Bumpia is driving once again for IRT today and is currently behind Lars and behind his teammate. 8001, who is just a few hundredths of a second behind Lars. We have now Willow, Batis, Toby, sending laps as well. We have Mad Dogs in the pits, Morgan has invalidated, and Fanaspin from GT10 is also pushing, is now at the hairpin of turn 13, so he's gonna finish sector 2 soon. So yeah, 8 drivers we are lapsing at the moment, and Nai from NLR is the fastest.
Very good to see. 1-3 for NLR. So at the moment we're looking very good. Of course, the main objective here in Q2 will be to get into the top 10 to move into qualifying 3, where you will start seeing the first points of the weekend handed out as well. At the moment, about 9/10 separating P1 and P8. And the rest of the group without lap times at the moment. Kevin Zunderberg, actually, he's serving a qualifying ban for EVR. So he will start from 15th in the race. So he's gotten a bit lucky there that so many drivers have not turned up for qualifying at all, that he can still, with the qualifying ban, make it into Q2 and yeah, be 15th on the grid. P5 for Fanaspin, he's put in a 27.577.
Wow, 22 thousandths behind 8001, and 8001 is just 17 thousandths behind Lars. We are already starting to see very close gaps already in Q2.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning with the skip for qualifying 1, every driver is going to have 4 tires available for Q2 and Q3, so 2 each, and you can yeah, you don't have to worry too much about tire wear, you can just do 2 runs on a fresh tire in each session now, which will be very good for these guys.
That's a good point, yes.
Makes their life a little bit easier. David Martinez starting his lap. Currently in 14th, he definitely needs to, well, he hasn't put a lap in yet. I'm not sure if he invalidated the first one or if he hasn't gone out
He
yet.
did invalidate, yes.
Okay. If he maybe just left it late, but no. Daniel also on a lap as well now, so we've got 2 cars on hot laps. I think Van Spinoza is on his way back in the pit lane. Fully flat. Oh! A bit of a lift and a bit of an Austin moment as well there. As Dave Martinez takes a lot of curb. 31.920 first sector. And goes quite wide on the exit here. Taps the barrier a little bit. Didn't look the cleanest of starts in the second sector. And that is an invalidation for Dave Martinez. The second one in this session already. We'll go on board with Daniel instead and behind him. In the Alpine, he's currently running in 10th.
Daniel has taken the S section from sector 1 completely flat. Now down to 6th gear and doesn't invalidate in the corner where David Martinez invalidated his first run. So on 23 hits it that very nicely. Now he stays to the inside line for turn 26 and now 27 downshifty into 3rd gear and getting the apex on the inside very nicely. Deploying some energy, DRS enabled, and Daniel with his first lap to be at 27.7, curling P6. We have Mad Dogs as well for GT10 pushing. Now around turn 18 and 19, now on the back straight with DRS enabled. So he will finish sector 2 very soon. For Mad Dogs, it's 1 minute and 7 tenths after sector 2. So now he's in the 3rd sector and DRS enabled once again for the last straight of the lap. And just ever so slightly misses the apex on the inside. But it still looks like a decent exit. And for Maddox, his first lap will be 27.8. So down in P8, just a few hundreds of a second behind Willow in P7. And I think we have Morge pushing now.
Yep,
yes,
he's currently running in 13th here. 1000 lap time at the moment. The time to beat a 28.070 from Toby, that would put you into Q3 at the moment. But with 6 minutes still to go, I think that will still drop. I would say that the top 2 look pretty safe in Evie and Alex. So we now have Loom in the lobby as well. So that's the second driver for Velux. I think from P3 and downwards, everyone could still be in danger here of getting knocked out. With Track Evolution coming in, and of course the pretty close gap we have here in the Esports division.
Batiste is improving by 2 tenths after sector 1.
So both HRT guys on laps at the moment. Morge on his first one, and he's about to finish it as he comes around the final corner. Bit wide of the apex there as well, I would say. That will have cost him a little bit of time, and over the line, that's a 27.758. That's enough for P6. And with that, Toby is currently knocked out of Q2. It's what I call it Q1. Just thrown the mode of that, I don't know. It's weird to just skip qualifying one completely. And Batiste coming around the final corner as well now. Currently P10, his teammate up in P6, and he is gonna go into 6th place. He's now right alongside his teammate there. 27.645 for Batiste. And with that, both HRT drivers currently into Q3. GT10, Fana Spinoza also starting a lap now as he comes into turn 1. At the moment he's 5th fastest, only 27.577. But he's going to want to improve on that a little bit just to be 100% confident that he can make it through. I do think this could already be enough what he has, but I wouldn't say he's 100% through with the 27.5 that he has. And fully flat for the last 2 corners of the S section. A lot of downforce on the car there for him to be able to pull that one off.
And there's probably going to be even more downforce once we go into the race with the wet setup.
It'll be very interesting actually what drivers do, because of course the lap times will be faster if you have a high downforce setup, but I do think there's not really a lot of corners you can actually make the overtakes happen if you have the high downforce. Like, the only one I can really think of is the left-hander when you start sector 2. But then there's the 3D air straights, the 3D air straights coming up after that, where you will probably be re-overtaken. I think it'll be very difficult to make anything happen in the race in terms of like overtakes or just winning battles in general, if you have the high downforce setup. So it might actually not be too high of a wing. Might be the meta for this race still. Second place for Fana Spinoda as he puts in a 27.317. David Martinez on another lap now. Third time's a charm, you would think, you would hope for him. He's got one more corner to go, coming up to the hairpin right at the end of the lap. His teammate sitting in third place, gonna want to join him up there to make sure he can also make it into qualifying 3. Braking at the 100 meter board for the final corner, turns the car in nicely. Bit of an all-stay moment. We'll see if that costs him. He goes back in the pit lane and he only has 2.5 minutes to go. This will be very close.
I don't think he's gonna make it.
That decision he might regret. I'm not sure if it would have been enough to get into Q3, the lap that he was on, but it was valid, so at least it would have been a lap, and now he might be without one and might be knocked out in Q2 if he can't get back out on time, which I don't think he can.
Yeah, exactly. The in-game animation takes so long for the cars to go in and out of the pits. You lose about even more than a minute in total. So once you go out on track, and you also cannot afford to push your tires too much or to deploy energy too much, I highly doubt he's gonna make it. We have Lars pushing. Oh, invalidates, never mind. One minute and 40 seconds left to go. Almost the entire grid is on their outlaps at the moment. 8001 IR3 driver is gonna start right now on the straight.
GT10 Mad Dog's also about to start his lap as he comes into the final corner. So yeah, an invalidation for Lars, and that could put him at risk of being knocked out in Q2. We'll have to wait and see. RT8001, David Martinez has crashed out!
Ooh!
He went out on track on his outlap. Yeah, he crashed entering the S section. We'll go on both Mad Dogs. I think what has happened is he turned in too early and just peeled the tire off on the apex barrier. And he's already despawned, so we're not going to be able to see it. But, so yeah, David Martinez is going to be out in Q2. 14th position for him. And a huge blow to AMR. They were currently sitting second in the standings. Invalidation for 8001 as well. Even retires in the pit lane from the lead of qualifying 2. He is confident he's done enough, and I think that confidence is very much justified. We've got Toby, Mad Dogs, Bumpia. Bumpia is invalidated, and with that he's also knocked out in Q2. He will not be improving on the 28.1 he set previously. Toby, he's up by 1.5 tenths in the first sector. Mad Dog's coming from the overlap. We've got Willow coming from the S section as well right now. Mad Dog's up by 2.5 tenths. So that will put him close to the 2 HRT guys, I believe. Sonic, currently in 13th, he's also on a lap. So all the guys at the bottom on the track and on their hot laps at the moment. And this will be crucial to decide who will make it into Q3. And over the line for GT10 Mad Dogs, he's gonna put in a 1:27.505 and he goes 4 fastest. We've got Toby coming in the final corner. Bumpia up ahead of him, he's invalidated. At the moment, Toby will be knocked out. 27.813 to beat from Willow to get him into Q3. And as he goes over the line, that's going to be a 27.539 sixth fastest. That is enough. Sonic is invalidated. He will also not be putting a lap. And so is Willow, so we're done. Daniel's going to make Q3. He's just on the verge of being knocked out, but all the drivers behind him have already invalidated their laps. And with that, Q2 is decided. It's going to be Willow in 11th, Boompy in 12th, and then Sonic without a lap in 13th, Dave Martinez without a lap in 14th, and Kevin Zunderberg in 15th, serving a qualifying ban. And Daniel goes 5th fastest there right in the end as well. A massive jump as he goes from 10th to 5th. March also coming over the line, but this is purely for pride, and that's a P6 finish at the end. And IRT 800 was actually very close getting knocked out there after invalidating this run. He's ended up in 10th position. Although the time gap to P11 is quite big in the end actually. 27.555 for him, 27.813 for Willow. But the gap from Evan in P1 to 8001 in P10 is so close.
So the teams with 2 drivers up into Q3 are HRT, NLR, GT10, and I think that's it.
That is immediately over half of Q3 who have their teammate in Q3 as well, so quite a few teams actually who got out, all who went to Q3. The only team who got both drivers knocked out in Q2 there is EVR, of course one serving a qualifying ban and one getting knocked out normally. Sierra are also completely out of qualifying now since Sonic was the only representative of them. AGK Racing was supposed to be driving for them as well, but he had a wheel issue, I believe they said, which well means that he cannot race, of course. And here we are then, Q3. That was quick. The deciding part of qualifying, it's on already, and we'll be giving out the first points at the end of today, at the end of this session. Sorry. 10 points for pole, 8 points for P2, 6 points for P3, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 down to P8. So this will already be a crucial part of the evening. Of course, it decides the starting grid as well, and you definitely want to be towards the front on a track like Saudi Arabia, just to avoid the lap 1 carnage, which is well, not unlikely to happen on a track like this, I would say.
And the way I see it, if you start from pole position, you're not safe from the carnage either. Someone could just stand on the inside and completely ruin your chances into turn 1, even if you're starting ahead.
I suppose you're never safe, but I think you'd still rather be ahead of it than in the middle of it. So, certainly, I mean, in general, you want to start towards the front, that's just how it works. And you get some bonus points for it as well here in the Esports division. So, double incentive to do well in qualifying. And which makes it even more important for the teams who have got multiple drivers into Q3. They're gonna really benefit from that, especially if they do it multiple times this season. Those points will really rack up. I mean, it's essentially worth like just under half a race win. If you get 25 points for a race win, no, you actually get 30 points for a race win. So it's 1/3 of a race win. Yeah, you get 30 points for a race win, 10 points for pole position. So the qualifying is very, very valuable here as well.
We did see David Martinez clipping the inside of turn 4, and that's one of the most common crashes when you're pushing to the limit at a track like Jeddah. The question is, out of these 10 drivers, are they going to do the same mistake? Because they're absolutely pushing.
David wasn't even pushing, he was on an outlap. So think about how difficult it must be when you're not on an outlap, when you're actually trying to put in the best laps you could possibly do. Although David was quite close on time, so of course he was pushing to get to the line, but I don't think you're going 100% through that corner, even if you are like... Because whether you go through there at 10 faster or... Like, likely that temp is not going to be the deciding thing, whether you make the line or not. But Lars, he's the first one starting a lap here. And he's got Evan right behind him as well, so both NLR drivers out right in the start of Q3 and getting ready to put in their first laps.
It actually lifts up the throttle quite heavily for turn 9. The fast right hand of the air section, he lifts not completely, but like below 50% throttle, takes a wider line through turn 13. And now he's gonna be ready to score in turn 16 and 17, taking a curb on the left hand side, and now is DRS enabled in a moment, deploying some energy as well on this back straight. And he's gonna start sector 3 in just a moment, braking for turn 22, flicking the steering wheel to the left, taking the curb on the right, and almost clipping the walls on the right, and now staying on the inside on the left hand side. Lars is about to finish sector 3. He's gonna break for turn 27. And Ooze locks up and goes wide.
Not the best of bankers, I would say. But it's still enough for a 27.415. Well, apologies. And Evan actually going back to the pit lane. I think he invalidated. Yeah, he invalidated, but he's coming over the line. Goes 2 tenths slower than Lars. He is at the moment in second place with that. Fanas Finola goes in the middle of them. And then Daniel goes second fastest. Morge and Mad Dogs have invalidated. Toby comes up to the line. And Toby goes fastest, 27.339.
But still isn't the fastest lap we've seen. It was 27.2 in Q2.
Yeah, it's very interesting that the times in Q3 are actually slower than the ones in Q2 at the moment.
But it might be that this is only the first lap, so they're pushing at like 90% of the pace, and they're reserving that 100% for the last run.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't be used tires. I mean, at least not for F1. Unless they have used 3 tires in Q2, they should have 2 available, so they have no reason to do a used run, since you don't have time for 3 runs. And over the line goes IRT 8001, and he does go fastest, 27.320. So the grid is a bit jumbled up right now. Not what I would have expected coming into the weekend here. Evan is already back out on track to put in another lap. Of course, he invalidated his first one, so he needs to, well, put in the banker at least. Make sure he can get himself up the grid a bit. Alex Lamas, Mad Dogs, Morge also without lap times in the first run of Q3. I think they all invalidated, I'm not sure. At least I would guess that's what happened.
I think they did, yeah, because I'm looking at the race directs and they're showing 2 tires.
So, Evan coming up in the final corner to start his flying lap. Of course, currently down in P10, his teammate Lars, sorry, in third place on a 27.415, the fastest time at the moment, a 27.320. Of course, Evan was fastest in Q2, so you'd expect him to be up there as well once again. If he can recreate his previous performance. Of course, the Q2 time was actually faster. Well, Evan's Q2 time was the fastest at the moment still. It's faster than 27.3. I know it was 27.2, and I don't remember exactly what it was. So he was a little bit faster than everybody else is right now. If you can just recreate that, you'll be back on pole position. But of course, I would expect everybody else to also improve a little bit, so he will need to do the same. And that should be an invalidation? No! But then you must have lost quite a bit of time if the game allows that. And it certainly did look far from optimal through there. Mad Dogs also on lap, and so is Alex Lamas. Morge the only one of the guys in the laps not immediately back out on track.
Evan finishes sector 2 with a 1. Oh, he goes wide, he's invalidated.
Another invalidation for Evan. Yeah, he tapped the barrier on the inside. Went wide through that, and the lap is ruined. Now he's got 4.5 minutes left to go. And only one more shot. Mad Dogs also has invalidated. And so is Alex Lamas. So many people here in Q3 invalidating. 4.5 minutes to go, and there's still 4 drivers in Q3 without a lap time. And they're gonna wait right until the end of it to even put in any sort of lap time here. We've got Lars coming onto his lap as well now. At the moment he's third fastest on a 27.415, just under a 10th away from pole position. And that looked like a pretty clean ass section from Lars. We'll see the sector split time. Yes, he's up by almost 2 tenths. And that alone already puts him comfortably in pole position if you can just recreate a sector 2 and 3 from here.
It definitely looks like a better lap from the one that he did earlier. You could already see in the S section he took a nicer line and didn't go as wide on the curb, and he's already improving by almost 2 tenths. Let's see if he can actually go up by 2 tenths. He's approaching sector 3 now. Still
Pretty equal to his previous sector 2 then. That's all he needs. That's all he needs. That will already put him in pole position, of course, barring other improvements still coming in.
And he locks up but doesn't go as wide as his last run. So I don't think he lost too much time. Let's see across the line. 4 laps, Van der Linden, it's 27.1, and that's the fastest lap we've seen all qualifying long.
Yep, and quite a big gap then that he has to P2 right now. Over 2 tenths between Lars and IRT 8001. But he's going back to the pit lane, not going to be improving at 27.6. We have got 2.5 minutes left to go, and still, everybody apart from Lars in the pit lane. They need to get a move on here. All leaving it very late to go out on track for the final run in Q3. But he's being pushed into the pit lane. Is he going to get out in time again? Could be close.
No, I think he will. It's different from David Martinez. David, he was extremely late, but now it's like, let's say, pretty much 2 minutes once you come out of the pits. So they should make it.
And here we go. All of them coming out of the pits at the same time. Now they've left it all to the last possible second. We've got Fana Spinoda, we've got Mad Dogs out on track. And I think then I saw, yep, 8001. Or, is it 8001 or 8001? 8? I don't know.
Can you just call him 8 for the sake of simplicity?
I might. Alex Lamas as well, out on track now. Hasn't put a lap in yet, so he needs to, well, put him in some sort of lap time here. Same goes for Mad Dogs, Moj, and Evan. But he's coming out on track. Yeah, everybody's out on track now. Daniel is the last one to exit the pit lane at 1 minute 37. He's only got 10 seconds to spare. So he needs to get a move on, and he can't really wait for the guys ahead. So he needs to probably do this lap like right behind Baptiste, which could be a bit annoying as he's going to be distracted. Lars back in the pit lane, he retires from the session. Of course, not going to get out in time anyway. So that's Lars qualifying done. He's currently on pole position by over 2 tenths, separating him from 8. So, first one starting his lap, GT10, Fana Spinoda, 27.535 to beat. That has put him 5th fastest earlier. We'll see what he's capable of. DRS enabled, and he goes down towards turn 1. He will brake at roughly the 100 meter board. And send it over the curb on the inside, beautiful, and the second curb also. Back on the power, down towards the S section now. Should be a 5th gear corner this one. Try to get as close to that barrier on the inside without going into it, and over the curb a little bit on the exit. Now fully flat through here, and now also fully flat a bit over the curb. Bit of a lift, no, fully flat. And yeah, Mad Dogs is out. No lap time in Q3 for Mad Dogs. Fana Spinoda waving the GT defend flag by himself, and very well doing so. 2.5 tenths up in sector 1. Quickly go on board with 8001 behind. He is up by just under a tenth. Alex Lamas coming up to the end of sector 1. He has put in a 31.7. Evan also coming out of the S section right now. Go back on board to Fana Spinoda as he comes up to the end of sector 2. And he's going to be up by 3 and a bit tenths. He's on an absolutely amazing lap right now. And this could put him second fastest. And if he finds another 10 from the final sector, he could even beat Lars to pole position here. An inspired lap by Fana Spinoda. Massive gains in the first sector and route second sector, and if you can bring it home, that looked quite good. So close to the barrier on the inside there on the final corner. All track mode enabled, all the way down to the line. And that is a 1:27.048 indeed. He has beaten Lars to provisional pole position, but will he hang on to it? Will he hang on to it? There is still quite a few drivers left to complete the laps here. For IRTA it's going to be a 27.089, that's second fastest. Toby hasn't validated, Daniel's coming up to the line. We've got Alex Lamas, the first 1:26 of the session. Evan Knaya also coming up to the line. 26.965 by Alex Lamas to beat, and Evan 27.216, only 5th fastest. We've got the 2 HRT drivers coming up the line as well. Daniel currently 7th fastest, and he goes into P2 7 stays where he is. Baptiste jumps into 6th. And Mort coming over the line for his one and only lap of the session. And I think he went 8th. Yep, 8th fastest for Mort, and that is Q3 done as well. Pole position for Alex Lamas, for EMA. 10 points going their way. The only driver today in the 126s. And then we have Fana Spinola in 2nd place, followed by ART 8001. Lars and even right next to each other in 4th and 5th. Baptiste in 6th place, Toby in 7th, and Mort rounding out the points paying positions in qualifying with Daniel in 9th place, and only 4.5 tenths separating Alex Lamas in 9th and Alex Lamas in 1st and Daniel in 9th. Mad Dogs has not completed a lap in Q3, he will start the race from 10th position.
That was a very exciting Q3, I have to say, and Alex would be very pleased with that lap. He invalidated his 2 previous, but he has finally found redemption to claim pole position and to claim those 10 points at the last stages of qualifying, so it's a very well-deserved position. The only one to go into the 126, so yeah, but now comes the difficult part. Well, we will have to do the lobby restarts, but still, it comes the difficult part. Maintaining that position in what's going to be probably one of the most chaotic races we will ever see. Abu Dhabi was already as chaotic as you could imagine with the dry, but now we have Jeddah in the wet. It would just be absolute destruction.
Yeah, we do also have another couple drivers I think who joined throughout qualifying there. I think we're up to like 16 or 17 now, so the grid getting even larger. And that will make it, well, even more likely that we see some chaos. It's a shame that we don't have a full grid once again. The 1 week of a full grid in Abu Dhabi was nice, but it was not to last apparently. And yeah, of course, we'll have a lobby restart once again to enable the collisions, so everyone will just go ahead and straight line the first corner, I believe. There we go, Sonic absolutely sending it into turn 1. There's a car upside down! I think that's Daniel who's upside down the barrier at turn 1, that's beautiful.
Oh, I'm just absolutely drifting through the S section.
But yeah, we are indeed up to 17 drivers now. Lumi made it into the lobby and Ryan Bunning, so we do at least have every team represented by at least one driver now. Yeah, one driver for X8, one for Sierra, and one for Legacy Racing. Apart from that, all teams in the competition with 2 drivers today.
I want to see the stream once again to see how did he end up upside down.
And actually, at some point I just noticed the car like on top of the barrier. That just put him upside down.
Oh yeah.
How do you get into that position? I'm actually very, very impressed by that.
But this camera shot from the stream, I have never got that. I have never seen this wide shot from the runoff of turn 1.
Yeah, why is there a camera positioned there? Why have Codemasters made this thing? I mean, I'm very glad it's there. It was a very, very good view of the crash at turn 1. But why does the camera... who coded it to be possible for the camera to go that far into the runoff?
I mean, it's amazing how usually the camera shots tend to be terrible. Like, whether it's time trial or even the races itself, sometimes sometimes you see 3 cars fighting for position and the game lets you with a nose view. Or like the offset onboard, which doesn't exactly let you see that much. That's for the exciting stuff. But when you have to see drivers sending it into turn 1 to purposely crash themselves out, you get these shots of the runoff. That's just Codemasters at their best.
Well, they have the right priorities, clearly.
Like, I have seen so many times, like maybe if I was, I don't know, driving with AI and sometimes I will crash myself out, just before crashing myself out, the game wouldn't let me see the car from the outside. Even if I saw the cinematic shot from the outside, it would just jump to the offset onboard, like close to the side of the actual camera. It always does that for some reason.
I will very quickly grab the results from Q2 and Q3 and send those to Daniel so you can set the grid.
The drivers who joined later, they should start below P15, right?
Yeah, they drop to it'll be Lumi or little sister, its in-game name will be P16, and then Ryan Bundink will be 17th.
So we can come and say the results from P15 and upwards, because from P15 it's Kevin, David Martinez, Sonic, Bumpie, and Willow, and then the top 10 is made up of, let me see, from...
I've already sent them
Oh,
to
fucking hell.
Daniel, it's fine.
Yeah, I was just gonna repeat them for the stream's sake.
Okay. We went through them all. Are you just bored? Trying
What am I
to
supposed
avoid
to
the
say during a
silence?
lobby restart? What am I supposed to say during a lobby restart? We can't just stay in silence. I mean, we can, but it's
Sure we can.
not ideal.
I will stay in perfect silence if you will. I will read
Because
chat.
you're boring. Yeah, you handle the chat, I'll handle the results. So
Damn, there's
from
so many
top 10,
anonymous in chat. Lovely to see.
so again, from P10 and upwards, it's Mad Dogs, Daniel, Moj, Toby, Baptiste, Evan Nye, Lars van der Linden, A001, Final Spin, and then Alex on pole position. Something I'm actually thinking about, when the heavy rain comes, we will see actually full wets. That's
No,
the
no, no,
question.
no, no, no. I mean, shouldn't. I mean, it would have to, like, the heavy weights on this game are actually realistic in the way that they're useless. Because they are so good at clearing water, which is actually simulated, I believe. At least that's what I think the reasoning is. That after like 3 or 4 laps of people running full wets, the inters are faster again. So you never want to pit to full wets, because if people go onto them, the range just disappears.
But in the Div 2 finale, the rain was becoming so wet. I mean, it was becoming so heavy in the last half of the rain stint. You know, well, we were pushing with the interest up until the end because the advantage just wouldn't be enough. But that rain was becoming heavy, and we were trying to push interest with so much tire wear. I think at that stage the full wets would have been faster. We didn't use them just because it would have been way too much of a gap to try and recover that, but the rain was that heavy. I think probably another thing is it's only 25 laps, so maybe there's not as many laps of time for the rain to actually become so intense that you feel the necessity to pit for full wets.
We'll see. I mean, usually what I would expect is inter dry inter, but maybe the full wet will be an option. I don't know how it works when you have the like how intense the rain will be when you set it to heavy wet in the custom weather setting.
Well, ideally, the game should make it in a way that you will be encouraged to have the full wets.
Yeah,
So
but then the
like,
game would have to make the full wets like even usable, even if it is very clearly what would be full wet conditions
like
in other F1 games.
in terms of a percentage, it will probably be close to like 90%. That's what we got in Div 2.
Should be fun. We'll see how it goes.
Will they put mediums on the dry stint? Because there's not exactly a way to predict how many laps will be dry. You can only guess it's the second stint, so the half of the race, but you don't know how many laps. The softs could give an advantage, but they won't last as many laps. And the hards are too slow, so I think will be probably mediums.
Yeah, the thing I can't see the dry staying for long because it's set to be light rain, then overcast, and then back to heavy rain. So overcast should be a fairly like short crossover period. I think if you maybe put it to sunny, like you would have to go through the overcast, light cloud, and then sunny period as well. But if you just have the overcast, it won't take as long, you know?
So could you actually see softs?
I do think it would be soft that people go on to. But it's a risky choice, so it could also be people going to mediums. It's very, very interesting what the people are going to do on strategy here. And I'm very excited for this race. I mean, a wet Jeddah turn 1. I cannot wait.
The
We are
front
about to
tires will
experience some
suffer so
absolute
much.
scenes. 25 laps, most of which will be raced in the wet on the streets of Jeddah. This is gonna be hopefully an all-timer. I mean, I don't want to jinx it and ends up being like utterly boring, but I could definitely see this being a very good race. And indeed, there we have the rain. It should be everyone starting in intermediates. It's set to light rain, so there should be no reason for heavy wets. And well, obviously this is not dry tire conditions. I don't think the game will even let you choose dry tires.
Yeah, the game has some strategy limits at some tracks. Like, it's unrelated, but I remember Bahrain, you're not able to theoretically select a one stop. It forces you to a two stop.
Which is even funnier because people do soft and hard most of the time. Because the medium is just useless. So, and the game will
Yeah,
not even let you put in the medium hard. The game is way too conservative of what like you can do on strategy, I feel like.
and that's what was the strategy like in round one. It was Bahrain.
Yeah, and everyone was, I mean, there was AGK on the soft hard, everybody else was doing hard and soft, and no one touched the medium. It was very funny. Never seen a tire that useless on any F1 game, ever. And I remember the blue hard tire on F1 2018, I think it was in Silverstone.
Oh,
That is some next level uselessness. Anyone remember that? The ultra hard, I think it was called? Hilarious. Bring
and
back
it was also
the
different
rainbow colored
because
tires, please.
it was
Having the
different because
same red,
also
yellow, and white tires, soft, medium, hard everywhere is so boring.
and then you'd have the softs being yellow, the mediums being hard. No, no, the
Yeah,
yellow being
why
mid.
did they actually do that? Like,
Wait,
why is white hard now and not medium anymore?
I don't know.
Could have
Wait,
just
it
kept the
was.
names.
It was yellow for softs, white for mediums, and orange for hards.
Yeah.
I guess the orange didn't look pretty enough.
I like
Like
the
you
orange.
could see, yeah, but like especially with F124, with how the overall color scheme is, you'd see the white being
I don't
a
think
more
the
fitting
FAA
color.
considered what it would look
They
like in
definitely
game.
didn't, but They definitely did not, but that's sort of the reason
Oh,
you can.
here we
Anyway,
go. Enough waffling about tires. We're ready for the race start. The 5 red lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go. Alex Lamas on the left-hand side, Fana Spinoza on the inside for turn 1. But Alex with a good start, he's able to hold on to the lead of the race. But in behind, a couple of cars going 3 wide. That's Lars, Evan, and Baptiste. Evan going off track, rejoining. And all clean through to 1. I didn't see any yellow flags. Everyone is still in the race. But some squabbling into the S section as well there. We've got Morge side by side with Daniel there. I think got pushed off track a little bit there. Coming into the S section. They're still side by side, going through the S section. Daniel comes out on top and moves up into 7th place. And they are all very, very careful. You can see the oversteer kicking in, which is having to correct. Sonic with already a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And, no, corner cutting actually. The straight 3-second penalty. Very early into the race. At the front, Alex Lamas still leading quite comfortably over Fana Spinoza, half a second separating them. And then IRT 8001 in behind that. The 2 NLR drivers a bit further behind. Evan over a second back, with Baptiste putting some pressure on Lars for 5th position. And he might already be looking at a move. Into, yes, the fast left-hander coming up. He's gonna try and go around the outside, is he? No, he backs out, which I think is definitely the smart choice. But looking behind Daniel as well, practically pushing Morge through there. So this opening lap, quite spicy, but it's very nice to see that it's been completely clean. At least from what I could see, I didn't see any wings flying or anything like that. Lars covering the inside against Baptiste. And I don't think he's be able to go all the way around the outside there. But he is gonna stay somewhat in that gap. Lars needs to respect his room there as well on the outside. Baptiste, is he gonna have a run down towards turn 1 once again? As we have a change for lead. Fana Spinoza with a battle against Alex Lamas through the first 2 corners here. They're coming out side by side. So they go down towards the end section. Bit of a slide for Fana Spinoza, and it's not gonna cost him. No, he's still on the outside. He backs out though. Alex Lamas does reclaim the lead of the race. And all stays the same in the top 2, even after the battle. Sonic is in the pit lane, so he's already picked up some wing damage in the first lap. So much for it all being clean then. But the top 2 are running away a bit. Over a second away from IRT8. Evan chasing him, Lars over a second back from there. So yeah, it's the rain is doing kind of what we intended to, breaking up the DRS trains. With David Martinez making up for his bad qualifying, going for a move on Mad Dogs for 9th. And he does get the move done, very nice, just setting it up the inside there into the long left-hander. And that's, well, another position gain for him. It's also worth mentioning, the top 15 score points in this division, so at this point, there's only 2 cars in this race who will not be scoring any points, provided that we have 15 finishes. We've got Lumi making a move on Mad Dogs as well. He's been overtaken by 2 cars in the span of, well, 1 sector. So, not the waste of news for GT10, as we have Fana Spinoza and Alex Lamas. This is very good news for GT10. They're battling for the lead of the race. Fana Spinoza trying to go all the way around the outside. We've got Evan in the background with a move on IRT8 as well. We stay on board with leaders as they're still side by side. And there comes Evan out of the final corner ahead of IRT8, but they are still side by side down the main straight. Alex Lamas and Fana Spinoza, and once again Alex Lamas does pull ahead in the end. Fana Spinoza not able to stay alongside all the way down the straight. And once again,
and Lars
Alex
again on the inside. Lars is setting up the inside of Baptiste, and he's now ahead up into P5 just before turn 3, and it looks like he's still ahead, but they still go wheel to wheel. And actually Lars
what a battle.
ahead, so in P5. Wow.
Lars is having to defend quite hard. He doesn't seem to kind of the pace in the cars ahead of him, and he's creating a bit of a train in behind there. They are all just looking for a way around him. But so far, no luck. I mean, of course, with the rain coming down, there will be no DRS, which makes it a lot harder to make overtakes happen. But now Baptiste might finally have it done. Yes, he's gotten the move at the exit section.
Morge, Daniel, and David Martinez almost 3 wide, and David Martinez looks like to have the better run off of them, who now claims P7. But Morge and Daniel are still so close to each other. The two teammates, Daniel and Lumi, are also pretty close to each other in P9 and 10. But I have to say, Evan is showing some immaculate pace now. He was being stuck behind, but he has made the move happen on 8001. He's now in 2P3, and he looks like to be significantly faster than Fana Spin and Alex at the front.
Yeah, he's all of a sudden just caught him, like, within a lap he was about a second back, I think, battling IRT8, and all of a sudden, there he is, right in the back of Fana Spinoza. and looking to get involved in this battle for the lead. As Lars is trying to come back at Batista, I believe. Morge also getting involved. They're 3 wide into the final corner. And they are gonna go down towards the main straight, and Dave Martinez getting involved as a massive scrap. Look at this. Fana Spinoza though with a move on Alex Lamas for the lead finally gets past him. And there they go 4 wide into turn 1. Daniel comes out ahead. Lars, David Martinez, Lumi, Batiste all still battling through the first chicane. This is absolutely amazing racing. Lars and Dave Martinez still side by side as they head down towards the S section. Dave Martinez on the inside. Yes, wow. He's able to get past Lars, but he has a moment also in there. Batiste slips through on the inside, and now they're 3 wide into the S section. Oh my goodness. Morge is going to try and go round the outside, switches to the inside for the next part, and he does get ahead of Lars as well. He's just getting eaten up by everyone. Once he gets pushed off line once, there you go. He's down to 10th position as Lumi also gets past him. And that's how quickly it can go, and it get as close as this. Lars dropping from 5th to 10th in the sector. And he's got more cars right behind him. Willow and Mad Dog's battling over 11th place here. They bang wheels. Coming down into the... Oh my goodness, and there comes Toby as well. What is this? At the front, we've got Evan all over the back of Alex Navas for 2nd position though. Daniel on the back of Dave Martinez for 5th also. As Dave Martinez goes very wide, that would have certainly been a track limit warning. Here goes Alex Navas with a run on Fana Spinoza, entering the final corner. Is he gonna go for the move? No, he doesn't. Decides to wait behind for a little while longer. Daniel though, he's not waiting as he goes around the outside of Dave Martinez. But he can't quite, not quite able to complete that move. And we're on to the main straight. Here comes Evan with a run on Alex Lamas. Alex Lamas not on Fana Spinoza himself, but they all stay in position in the end. Daniel though, he does get past Dave Martinez, moves up in the 5th on track. And look at that once again, Lars under pressure into turn 1. Willow having a look up the inside. Lars, I don't think he's quite having the confidence in the rain that he needs to. At least that's what it would seem like. He was quite fast in the qualifying. But now, not so much. But with a track like this, you don't really necessarily need to have the best pace. If you simply survive the race without getting involved into any sort of issue, carnage, or getting into a barrier on your own, you can definitely still store some very good points here. And it would seem the top 3, Fana Spinoza, Alex Lamas and Evan Knigh, are going to be making this one, or deciding this one between themselves. They seem to be a bit above everybody else, although IFC8 is staying within touching distance. He is, 1.5 seconds back right now from Evan. So he's there if anything does happen to the top 3. Dave Martinez and Daniel chasing them in behind, but that gap is growing. And they are battling for 5th place here, but a very good comeback as well so far from Dave Martinez. Started in 14th, now up into 6th and battling Daniel for 5th. Already of course having been up to 5th place at one point, Daniel overtook him. The leaders still very close together as they go in the final corner. Alex and Master not opting to go for the move in front of Spinoza. They seem happy to just sort of sit behind for the moment. Alex Lamas working the move though into turn 1. To the outside he goes. And they are side by side. Fana Spinoza outbreaks him and keeps the lead of the Grand Prix. The 2 HRT drivers side by side as we've got Morge outbreaking Batiste into turn 1. Kevin Zunneberg in the pit lane. Has he picked up some wing damage, or is he going for some strategy?
Yes.
Strategy call here.
He was fighting with Ryan across the S section, and I did see some contact.
Yep, there's a wing change for Kevin. And with that, he's joining Sonic at the back of the grid.
And now the grid is starting to split itself up into certain groups and certain trades. We have IRT8, who is pretty much on his own, just 1.7 seconds ahead and 3.3 seconds behind. So he's not really under attack. Oh, David Martinez and Daniel now fighting around the back straight, and just before the chicane of turn 15 and 16, and Martinez stays ahead. So now he's up into P5, and he's 2.8 seconds behind IRT8. But at the same time, he has to defend from Daniel, and they've been battling for so long now, and it's only up 6.
I said earlier that the gaps are increasing, but actually I think it's coming down. It was 3 seconds earlier, now it's 2.9. So Dave Martinez and Daniel might actually be starting to gain on the leaders a bit. trying to get involved in that battle for the podium positions. We've got Willow putting big pressure on Lars, and I think he's gonna have a look up the inside of the final corner. Yep. Lars leaves in the room on the apex. But he is able to go around the outside with a tap on the left, the left rear from Mad Dogs against Willow there as well. And now Boompio with a round on Mad Dogs. He's going to try and go around the outside of turn 1. We'll turn to the inside for the second part of the chicane, of course. And Boompio later on the brakes, and he does complete the move, moves up on the 12th place, past the GT10 man. Ryan Bunning with a 3-second time penalty now for multiple warnings. But I must say, these drivers are doing a very good job of keeping it calm. I've not seen anyone making any big mistakes here in the rain. Of course, the rain will get a lot more intense later on, and that could spice it up one more time. Fana Spinoza with a bit of a moment there. We've got a yellow flag, and I brought a commentator's curse. Ryan Bunning.
It's a safety car.
Full score safety car, yeah, and Ryan has crashed at the exit of the S section. Just as I say, the drivers have done a great job of keeping it clean and keeping the car off the barrier. There goes Ryan Bunning. We can't actually see what happened to him, sadly. But we know where he crashed, the exit of the S section. I can only guess too ego in the throttle coming out of here. And then a spin into the left-hand barrier. And that's really unfortunate for Ryan. That means 0 points for XR8 today. And a full course safety car deployed. Well, the thing is, we don't have a weather report, so we have absolutely no idea how long this rain will stay. So I can't tell you at all what these drivers are going to do now. We know it's going to get dry at some point, we just don't know when. Could be next lap for all I know, and in that case you would want to pit to dries now. But I don't have that information available to me.
Oh, they are pitting.
Yep, that's Fana Spinoza, Lamas, Knai, IT8, Daniel, David Martinez, Morsch, they're all coming in. But he's gonna double stack behind his teammates, so yeah, they really want fresh tires. Lars is staying out though. He goes from 10th to 1st position all of a sudden. That could be a really good call from Lars. Boompje out as well. And it's fresh inters for everybody else. That's interesting. I mean, I feel like if you're gonna go to fresh I mean, it must be some laps after the safety car for that to be worth it, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly the reason.
So it's not about to go dry like anytime soon. So Lars and Boompje are going to be under so much pressure. The entire field in behind them on fresh tires is going to start just hounding them for those positions.
I mean, we've seen how intensely they fight through the corners, and those tires are just going to have immense amounts of grips compared to Lars and Boompje, so they could drop down positions really quickly. Maybe if they're even that slow because of that reduced grip, they might even risk being crashed out for all we know.
I mean, we saw earlier Lars dropping from 5th to 10th in one sector. The first sector there, he got overtaken once, slightly pushed offline. Everybody just kept going into that gap, and there was nothing he could do about it until he finally had a moment to breathe and could, like, yeah, reset, get back onto the racing line, and defend once again. But that was on, yeah, the same tire life as everybody else, and now he has 7 laps all the tires, and the same goes for Boompje. It's going to be even harder to hold on to those places. And once one car slips through and opens up a gap for everybody else, they're not going to waste any time. They need to get that move done. And yeah, it will be tough for sure to hold on to those places. And it will be very crucial for them that the rain could stop soon. So, I mean, of course, the less time they have to spend defending those places, and yeah, the better. And once it does go dry, they'll be, yeah, very glad to be able to go into the pit lane and get some fresh tires onto the car and reset. No more tire advantage for everybody else. Of course, this does also bring Sonic and Kevin back into the race to see if that's what they were waiting for. Interesting that Sonic actually is not going for fresh tires. I feel like he might as well do. There we go, he's in the pits now.
Probably what Lars and Boompje are thinking is they need to someone make up for their position that they lost in the first stint, so they would just stay out and gain a lot of position and try to somewhat defend as much as possible. And maybe another thing they're thinking is, with the safety car, they're losing time, so the rain will stop earlier, so maybe they don't have as many laps of rain left. So maybe they can just hope to try and defend and just go into the pits for the dry tires whenever the time comes, which should be close enough theoretically, because we're now pretty much into the second third of the race.
Yeah, it's about time for the rain to stop, you know. So the thing is, it's dark, so I can't really see any clouds or anything like that. I don't know if there's a clear sky forming or anything of that sort, which will make it more difficult for us to tell the rain. The drivers, they still have the weather report from the engineer, which will tell them exactly when the rain will stop. Well, it will give an exact number. It's just that number might not be very accurate. The amount of times I've asked Jeff for the rain, and he says like 20 minutes, and it takes an hour.
Maybe you can see how many raindrops are actually falling, because like they look like they're somewhat less than before, and the track as well. The texture doesn't exactly look that wet, if you know what I mean.
I can even see a dry line starting to form, honestly.
Exactly.
It's certainly not dry enough for dry tires yet, but I do feel like it's very visible that the track is getting less wet over time. Safety car has been called in, and Lars can now control the pace up until the restart.
And this is gonna be so chaotic. They cannot lose time, so there we go for a move as soon as possible, as even turn 1 maybe. But we've seen just how much they were fighting through the S section, and they're gonna have to deal with crazy amounts of traffic. I don't think they are all gonna be in one piece after that.
Well, here we go. Lars still slowing the field down as he comes out the final corner. He's leaving it very late, not wanting to be caught out by that slipstream. Down from the first corner, still warming those tires up. And even getting into position. And there goes Lars on the restart. Van der Spinola, the good restart immediately on the inside of Boompje as he looks to make a move into turn 1. And he's in the center of the brakes, of course. He has the better tires, he should be able to get that move done. Or is he? Boompje doing quite well to hold on. But on the exit, there's nothing he can do against those fresh tires. And Alex Lamas has a look up the inside, but surely not. Yeah, he decides better of it. That would have certainly ended in tears for one of them at least. And we've got yellow flags. Yeah, Lumi with a spin. Boom, you're getting practically pushed now by Alex Lamas. We've got a virtual safety car out. As Lumi is still stuck in the barriers. I don't see any wing damage for him though, so just a lot of time loss, unfortunately. Well, the time was unfortunate, not that he hasn't gotten wing damage.
Well, what happened, I think, is that he put reverse gear, but there's not that much space to reverse the car, so when he's in first gear, he doesn't have enough wheel spin to try and get back the car into the original direction, so he definitely lost some time there. Oh, he actually has damage. He's missing the left-hand plate.
Oh yeah, very light damage down the left-hand side, but shouldn't be race ending or anything like that. But yeah, of course, a lot of time lost, and he's way behind the field now. VSC should be in soon, and then Lars will be under massive pressure. Van der Spinola is already looking for a gap there. VSC might be in very soon, actually. There we go, the VSC is in. And a good restart by Alex Lamas. He's on the back of Boompje into the final corner. But here comes IRT8 as well. They're going to be 3 wide, and up ahead, Van der Spinola with a send on Lars into the final corner. They make a bit of contact, I think, but they all come out clean. Alex Lamas rejoins rejoins after the final corner there in 3rd position. Lars and Van der Spinola side by side down the main straight. Lars pulls ahead there. Seems to have a bit more straight line speed, but Van der Spinola with better tires has a look back up the inside. Can't quite get alongside. Ooh. And here comes Evan Knai on IRT8. They make a bit of contact. Bumping wheels there, and IRT8 is fully sideways coming out of turn 2. Battling with his teammate now. Boompje letting him through, but that also allows Daniel to slip through maybe on the inside there into the S section. Now the outside for Daniel. Can he go clean around the outside? I think also the rain has stopped, has it? Yes.
Yes.
And that's great news if you're Lars or Boompje. Boompje already, though, he's down to 8th place. Dave Martinez getting bottomed out on the curb there. Rejoins the 3-second time penalty. Van der Spinola once again up the inside of Lars, and surely this time around, yes. But he's into the pits for dries. Lars tries to switch back, but he gets caught out by Alex Lamas in his inside. Can't quite complete it because of that. And now Alex trying to make the move happen on Lars to move up into 2nd place and be right back with Van der Spinola. There we go. Now Evan right behind Lars as well. I think we're about to see some team orders. There we go. Of course, Lars on the older tire has no reason to try and hold on to that position against Evan. He lets his teammate go. We have the original top 3 from before the safety car recreated. But with the rain having stopped, it looks pretty dire already. I think we're about to see everybody come from the pit lane. That is going to be awful for the likes of Lars, for the likes of Dane Martinez, for the likes of Kevin Zunderberg, who are going to have to double stack behind their teammates. They are going to lose a lot of time in the pit lane, or they have to do another lap on the intermediate tire. Although Baptiste actually is not gaining time on Lumi at all. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Exactly. The track looks dry, but it doesn't feel dry.
Yeah, they're all staying out.
Easy.
No one is in. Sonic is in, so at least someone. But I'm surprised not at least the drivers who have to double stack maybe went for it a lap early, because I don't think Baptiste is like way off the pace compared to the intermediate runners. It seems pretty close. But yeah, Dia is enabled now, so it's definitely dry conditions. Mediums for both Sonic and Baptiste. I'm interested to see if we're gonna see softs or mediums mostly. So far, it definitely seems to be mediums.
Fanspin clipped the wall a few times in the S section, but doesn't have damage, so he has brushed it off. But now, yes, DRS is enabled, which is already gonna be enabled on the back straight just after this chicane around sector 2. And we are gonna see so many double stacks and so many pit stops now.
Yeah, that safety car has really ruined the strategy of quite a lot of people now. Double stacks coming in. The gap from Sonic to Lumi seems... Yeah, Sonic is definitely gaining a bit there. Oh, and Fana Spinola goes deep. And that allows Alex Lavas to close in quite a bit. And now DRS will be enabled, of course. He could take the lead just before the pit stops here, if he has a run into the final corner. Although it looks like Fana Spinola is able to hold on. Evan Kneis look up the inside though. But not possible. He's simply a bit too far behind coming to the brakes. But here we go. They should all be diving into the pits now. And indeed, it looks like... Oh, Alex Lamas is staying out. And he actually got a 3-second time penalty. Lars is staying out as well, so is IRT8 and Daniel. They are all still staying out despite the track looking so dry. Very interesting. It's only Fana Spinoza, Evan and Morsh in the end actually. Most people stayed out still.
Well, they're trying to avoid double stack, and that's what Lars also did. He was trying to avoid the double stack from Evan. Now they are pitting for mediums. Morge is pitting for softs, and he's the only one on softs at the moment. But the question is, what tires are they?
And Lumi's bended! And we've got a full course safety car, I think. No, a virtual.
No, virtual.
How's it not a full course safety car?
I have no idea. Lumi
Let's see. Well, Morge, and he's well known also. Actually, I see why this is not a full course safety car. I think he's also clipped the inside barrier and then just gone straight for a bit. With that, we are down to 15 drivers. And that VSC, if it stays out for long enough, could be brilliant for the guys who haven't pitted yet.
I don't think it will. They're too far off.
Yeah, they are quite far away from the pit lane, so... I'm not sure they'll get there in time, but for sure they would love that. Fana Spinoza, Evan, Morsh, Sonic, Baptiste, they definitely would not love that though.
What's interesting now is that Fanaspin has a 20-second gap from Lars. So Lars, he could theoretically still be ahead, and if not ahead, very close to Fanaspin, Nai, and all of the other guys when he pits for some.
Yeah, even if the VSC hasn't like gotten them to the pit lane, at least they are not losing time right now, since they are all under VSC speed.
Lars has played this beautifully. Can't say the same for Boompie, but Lars actually had a very good strategy call and he has pulled it off.
Alex Lamas is still staying out. The VSC is still out. He's not pitting despite that. Lars is in though. So is David. So is Daniel. But I mean, the VSC is out. The track is dry. Why would you not pit for dry tires now? It's the best opportunity you'll get. Lars, they must be really confident the Inter is still faster to not pit under the VSC. And a drive-through penalty for Morsh as he speeds on the VSC. And Lars, I think, is gonna rejoin in the effective lead of the race. Yes! Look at that, Lars is so far ahead! Look where Fana Spinoza and Evan are, he's gained so much time! 5.4, 5.3, 5.2 to Toby. Yep, the medium is so much faster than the intermediate now. This was a beautiful strategy call, and I have no idea why the rest of the grid didn't also pit under the VSC.
Maybe, Kevin!
And the same crash, and another VSC, another lap later. What is going on? That corner is claiming everyone. Dave Martinez in qualifying, and then Lumi, now Kevin Zunneberg, making the same mistake. They're clipping the inside barrier. as they go into the S section, and that VSC has once again saved Alex Lamar's IRT8, Dave Martinez, Willow, and Toby from what would have been, well, a pit stop under green flag conditions and lose them a load of time. Surely they take the second chance the game has just gifted them, well, Kevin has just gifted them with that crash, to pit under the VSC.
They definitely have to.
The DRS has been enabled for 3 laps now, you have to pit. Or maybe they're waiting for the rain to come back down. But maybe IRT8 is still out on track. They might be waiting for the rain to start again. It might not be far away, and maybe they're trying to save a pit stop. That would be one hell of a strategy call, actually. I mean, a very risky one, because Lars is really not that far behind them. Both AMR drivers on soft compound tires. DRS enabled, we're back under green flag conditions, and yeah, Lars is about 6 seconds behind Toby, who's about 4.5 behind Willow, who's right behind IRT8, so... I mean, even if they save a pit stop here, they're gonna have worse tires than the cars in behind them, and they are not too far away, so I don't think it makes sense to stay out on the intermediates in dry conditions, hoping for the rain to come down, because you're gonna put so much tire wear on them right now. But for sure that's what they're doing. I mean, at this point, it makes no logical sense if that's not what they're doing. That, yeah, they simply have to be trying to stay out on those intermediates. Did Daniel pit to Inters? Like, yeah, he pitted to Inter. Oh, I think he forgot to change his tires there. He went in the pit lane without changing his next tire set was still set to intermediate from the start of the race, and it screwed him over completely.
Lars has gained a second in the S section alone, and he's gained another second around sector 2 with those little chicanes. It was 4.5, now it's 2.2, and he can probably go down to 1.5 after the last corner.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's going to be flying compared to those intermediate runners. And like I said, even if the rain like comes back right now, Lars is really not that far behind. He has a massive tire advantage. Of course, they are essentially saving 2 pit stops by doing that, since everybody else will have to make 1 more pit stop and they are still behind them as well, so yeah, you save the pit stop onto the dry and you save the pit stop back onto the intermediate, but you put so much tire wear on that tire, I don't think it's worth it. 9 laps to go in this race. We'll see. Actually, I mean, a pit stop is a lot of time. They've got another crash in the same place! And
now
this time it's a full course safety car. Fana Spinoza!
It's raining now!
And in the end, I have been proven completely wrong. A beautiful strategy call. I always said it. Beautiful strategy call by RT8, Willow and Toby. Perfectly executed.
Now it's a 3-second time penalty though for track limits.
But Fana Spinoza, he's been battling for the win for the entire way of the race so far. And just like that, in one moment, your race is over. One little misjudgment at the same corner as Kevin and Lumi earlier. And Dave Martinez in qualifying as well, don't forget. And your tire just pops off.
And you know what else is very important? We have reached the safety car limit.
Yeah, this should be the last safety car, I'm pretty sure. I've lost count, but it feels like we surely have hit 5 at this point.
This is the 5th one.
Have you kept count? Damn.
Yes.
Fair play. But we'll see if they pit onto fresh Inters now. I think they will, because they're gonna have put so much tire wear on them with the running in dry conditions. So yeah, they're all in. And of course, the ones on the dry tires are also back into the pit lane. And this time I think Daniel might be staying out though. And Daniel... Oh my goodness me. I said he screwed himself by the pit stop onto intermediates, and now, look at this! He's in the lead of the race! Who would have thought that? Of course, he does have slightly worn tires.
Thing. Wow.
And a drive-through penalty for Sonic and for Baptiste! Oh, guys, please, that's just unnecessary. Drive-throughs for Sonic and Baptiste, and they have thrown away, well, the race with that. There will be no more safety cars afterwards. And Sonic retires in the race in the pit lane, so also throws away, well, a couple of points for nothing.
I can't say this was the most chaotic race because a more fitting term would be the most unpredictable, surprising race I've seen. Like there was
Sonic is
no
in the
point in the
middle of the
race.
pit lane. Just
What?
okay, he's despawned. That was weird.
Okay.
He was just like in the fast lane, right next to the Sauber pit box there. I was worried to get like stuck behind him, but thankfully that didn't happen.
I was saying there was absolutely no point in the race where you could guess what was the right strategy because he kept changing every single lap.
This is great. I'm loving this. It's just so unpredictable. I mean, the top three reached Daniel, IRT8, and Willow. Let's have a look at the position changes. 8 positions gained, 1 position gained, 8 positions gained. Seriously, they people are moving like down the timing boards so often and so quickly. It is incredible what's going on at the moment on this track. And I think that's exactly what we're hoping for with this wet race. A crazy strategic battle with all sorts of yeah. I mean, the fact that these guys that the rain stopped and they decided to just not make a pit stop onto dry tires and it worked is beautiful. I never doubted it. I never said it would be a terrible strategy.
This is so far from over. For all we know, Morge could still win this race.
So honestly, why not? Yeah. At this point, nothing I don't believe.
I don't know if the safety car will come in this lap.
It's a good point made by Steven actually. He does say Daniel will have quite a bit of tire wear. Of course, it says only 4 laps, but it's worth mentioning. Most of those laps were in dry conditions, which puts a lot of tire wear on the intermediate. So, while he only has 3 more laps on them than everybody else, those 3 more laps could have probably, yeah, done about like 3 or 4 times the normal amount of tire wear you get in that time. So it'll be interesting to see how Daniel does in trying to hold on to that lead.
But what could it be? A 5% difference? 10% at most?
I mean, from what I remember, you get about 10% a lap when you run an intermediate on a dry track.
So you say even more than 10?
He could be on like 20-30% tire wear at this point already. I don't know like how bad it is around Jeddah, how bad it is on this game really, because I've not actually done it since F123. Because I learned the lesson very quickly that I just never touch intermediates on a dry track on F123. Since then the tire wear is incredibly high on a dry track of intermediates. So I've just never done it. Like I did it a couple of times in 23, never worked, and since then on 24 I've never tried it. I assume it's still the same. And on 23, like I said, it was about 10% a lap. Safety car in this lap, and Daniel now is in control of the race restart. He will slow down the pack as he goes into the final corner. 12 cars left in the end. We've already lost 5 cars, with 3 drivers not turning up in the end. So, Daniel going very slowly down towards the final corner. You see him on the left hand side. The safety car back in the pit lane now, so he could go at any moment he wants to. We'll see if he decides to wait a little bit longer still. We saw Lars doing it earlier to avoid the slipstream to turn 1, but Daniel has gone very early and he's caught IRT8 off guard really well there. 5/10 gap between himself and the leader. In behind though, it looks pretty calm as well. Think Alex Lamar's gonna have a send on Toby maybe into turn 1. No, he's not quite alongside. Mad Dogs and David Martinez, they are very much alongside though. Look at that as they come out of the first chicane. And Dave Martinez is slightly ahead as they pull towards the end section, and that means Mad Dog's gonna have to pull out. But he does go into the back of the AMR driver, but I think they've both gotten away with that. I didn't see any wings flying or anything of the sort.
David Martinez has damage.
Oh, where has he gotten that from? Oh, and he bottoms out over the curb.
Bottoms out, yeah.
And he rejoins.
Oh.
He's so lucky that Mad Dogs was able to avoid that. I would have been an almighty incident if they had made content on that rejoin. As Lars makes a move on IRT8. Alex Lamas trying to follow through though. And now Lars and Alex are side by side for 3rd position. And Alex pushes the inside for the second part of the corner, and he is ahead. And oh, there's Toby with a spin. No, he's caught it. What? How's he caught that? Still, he's lost a lot of places. And up ahead, IRT8 coming back at both Lars and Alex, and he's back into the third position. But he bottoms out over the curb. Alex trying a switchback as they go down towards the final corner. Evan and Lars practically, side by side there as well, the two teammates. Willow maybe with a run on Daniel for the lead of the race. He comes into the final corner up the inside, but Daniel is able to swoop around the outside one more time at least. Side by side down the straight, they bang wheels. Willow gets pushed all the way to the apex there of the pit entry basically. As we have Evan up in the 4th place. He's made a move on Alex and Lars, but he's in the pit lane. Lars sending it back on Alex, but he's not going to be able to complete that as a car halfway spun. That's IRT8 who's halfway spun around, coming out of turn 2. Daniel with a 3-second time penalty, and here goes Willow into the lead of the race.
The battling just never stops, so they are exchanging positions left and right, overtaking up pretty much every corner they can. Now Willow is defending this race lead and is effectively in the race lead. If he doesn't get any penalty, at the moment Willow will win this race and Evan Knight will be in second with Lars probably in third, but this is still so far from over.
Oh, and Alex goes in the back of Daniel, bit of a loft tap there, as he is struggling to find a way around the Alpine. And yeah, very good news for Willow right now. Daniel, Alex, IRT8 behind all have penalties. Within the top 5, Evan and Willow are the only ones without penalties, but below that, the only one with the penalties, David Martinez, who's running in 10th place. And they seem to have calmed down a bit. It was like 50 battles going on at once. Now they are all recharging battery for a moment there. But I think we are about to see that coming alive once again. Because look at Daniel, he has a run on Willow. He might claim back the race lead despite those old tires. Not quite into the final corner, maybe turn 1 is a shot. But he needs to look behind as well because Alex Lamas is on his tail. And he certainly isn't the one to get past an Alpine and make use of his fresher tires. But here comes Daniel with a run on Willow. He's going to reclaim the lead, maybe. He's alongside in turn 1, out brakes.
What a send! That was
beautiful.
So deep.
But Willow is going to come back as him in the near section. Surely not. Yeah, no, surely not. There we go. Daniel back into the lead. Willow still stuck behind.
And Alex
someone just hit a wall and top on Alpha. What a move! Alex Lamas. That was absolutely beautiful. Clean around the outside through the S section. But it gets a 3-second time penalty in exit as he goes over the track limits once again. And now Evan for the effective lead of the race on penalties up the inside of Willow. This could be for the race win. The battle between Evan and Willow for 3rd place on track. Of course, Alex and Daniel up ahead have penalties. This is the fight for the race win. 3rd on track. Lars holding up quite a big train win behind him once again. He's about 8 tenths back from IRT8 and he's got Toby and Mad Dogs all over him. Of course, this is effectively for a podium. Daniel is holding these guys up really well on those old tires. They just simply can't find a way around him. But look at how closely Lamas is following him through. And now with a run into the final corner. Could that be his chance to take the lead of the race? But look at Willow and Evan as well. We might be seeing a 4-wide moment in the, just now. And here we go. 2 by 2 into the final corner. Evan trying to go around the outside of Willow for the effective lead of the race. But gets caught in behind Lamas. And now Willow actually gets involved in a battle with Lamas. And they go 3 wide. We've got a crash. David Martinez in the final corner. And now, once again, Willow with a move on Daniel into turn 1. But can't quite complete the move, gets boxed on the apex. And here comes Alex Lamas with a better exit out of turn 3. And he is back up into 2nd place. Evan and IRT8 looking for ace, no space in behind. What this is... I mean, also what happened to Lars? He's down to 9th place, lost out to 3 cars there at some point. While all of these guys in the front were battling. Dave Martinez spun around at the final corner as well, there could be something to do with it. But they've all closed up so much now. They are all so close together on the last 3 laps of this Grand Prix. And there goes Alex Lamas.
Alex, what a send! All of a sudden on the inside of turn 13, now he makes the move on Daniel. This is not for the race win, but there was such a sudden dive on the inside, just outbreaking Daniel. But now we know that the race win is between Willow and Evan. And well, Willow doesn't care about overtaking Daniel and Alex. He just needs to defend from Evan, and he just needs to do that for 3 more laps. But if he can still stay close to Daniel and Alex, maybe he can use them to its advantage. If he can put some traffic behind him, it could help him to get away from Evan.
Yeah, it's a very chaotic entrance race here. And for sure it will help Willow a whole lot if you had Daniel and Alex between himself and Evan. Right now he's just benefiting from the slipstream, but here comes Evan with a run into the final corner. And now it's Willow who gets caught behind Daniel, and that allows Evan to sneak up the inside. And he does move up into 3rd place. But Willow with a better exit down the main straight. They are 2 by 2 once again. 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide for the lead. Look at that, and Evan coming out on top, I think, on the inside. He's side by side with Daniel still. And Daniel comes out of turn 2 ahead, and then Evan, and then... Oh, there's a car off, there's Alex!
Oh,
Alex is off, coming out of turn 2. He's caught it, but he's down to 6th place behind Toby. Hopefully he didn't pick up any damage from that. I think he got tangled up with another car, I couldn't tell who though. Simply too much going on right now. And another awesome moment for Alex as he's all over the back of Toby there, trying to get back up to 5th place already. And now, like we said, Willow wanted to put cars between himself and Evan. Now the opposite has happened. All of a sudden, IRT8 coming out of nowhere. He is in between Evan and Willow now, and there goes Lamas with another send into that long left-hander. He loves that braking zone, it looks like. And he's pulled off again, this time on Toby.
This is not optimal at all for Willow. He needs to overtake RT8, who is not exactly close to Evan, because now the gap from Willow to Evan is close to a second.
Yellow flags for David Martinez. He's dropped down to last place, been caught by Batista. I think he might have picked up some damage as well. Yep, he's got massive fronting damage on the left-hand side. So that's his chances of, well, anything more than the P12 on his own merit gone. Evan... following Daniel, Daniel is doing such a good job of holding on to the lead. If he just hadn't gotten the penalty, that dream for the race win could be very much alive. Toby Mad Dog's Mode getting all tangled up on the back straight here, but thankfully, no damage, no big crashes. But that was very scary at 300 and something kph. Could have ended in absolute tears. Now Evan up the inside of Daniel into turn 1. Is he gonna finally take the lead? Yes, it looks like the NLR driver. No, Daniel swoops around the outside, but he goes completely off the track.
He went very deep.
And that is Daniel's defense ruined. And he drops all the way down to 5th place there with one little mistake. And now Evan has been released into clean air. He's got IRT8 in behind him, followed by Willow. Then Alex Lamas and Daniel with time penalties. At the moment, Morsch running in 6th place is essentially running in 3rd. The rain is getting more and more intense. Dave Martinez trying in the pit lane there as well now. And down to just 11 cars. And look at the gap Evan is putting at the front. Already a second ahead of IRT8. And here comes Alex Lamas and Willow as well with a look at IRT8, but gets involved. Alex Lamas instead can't focus on the attack ahead. Alex Lamas with another move into that left-hander hairpin at the after the S section. Every single lap he'll take someone through there. If he keeps this up, he'll get IRT8 next lap, and then the race will be over.
Oh! IRT8 and Alex!
They've crashed in the straight. There's massive damage, I think, for IRT8, yes. And that all of a sudden spices these things up once again. IRT8 was looking for a very good result there. And, a crash in the straight and massive fronting damage. And now everyone who in behind him is going to be hounding him for those positions. Lars slips through on Toby, and he now is also going to make the move on IRT8. Willow into 2nd place, on track now with all of that happening, but he's way back on Evan, and IRT8 is going to let the entire field pass here with the damage that he has, decides it's not worth trying to battle. Very unfortunate for him. I didn't really see what happened. Alex Lamas has also picked up some damage in the process, and Morsch with a run on Lamas, and maybe Daniel as well, as he sends it up the inside in turn 1. Decides better of it. Toby and Lars battling from the first corner as they make a bit of contact. Toby coming out at last, trying the switchback though, but has a moment of oversteer, and that cost him the chance of making that switchback work. He is stuck in 8th place for the moment. Evan looks to be home clean, 1.5 seconds clear, but with the rain coming down hard now, this could be, close to full conditions. Lars has made the move on Toby in the S section. No idea how, but I simply know it must have been a beautiful move that happened in the S section. We've got Alex Lamas once again with a send on the same spot that he loves so much, but this time around, Morsch holding on against him. Nothing Alex Lamas can do about it. Mad Dog's getting involved in this battle as well, it looks like.
Morge on
Daniel
the
and Morge
outside
now
of
side by
Daniel.
side. And that's despite... and now Alex Lamar from the beautiful move around the outside. And now Mad Dog staring at the back of Morge in the battle for the last podium place. Up ahead, Evan completely clear. I have to focus on this battle for P3 because look at that. Daniel, Alex, Morge, Mad Dogs so close together. As they come onto the final straightaway of the lap. And the final straightaway of the race. Toby also all over the back of Lars. Into the final hairpin, they go. So close here. Alex Lamar's founding Daniels in the final corner, and here go Morton and Mad Dog as well side by side into the final corner. Up ahead, Evan is going to be winning this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, followed by Willow, but it's an all-out battle down to the line. It looks like Mad Dog's going to come out on top for third place here. Yes, he is. What a battle this was in the end. It's Evan Knai who wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. A third straight win for NLR. Willow coming home in second place there with a great points haul as well for EVR. GT10 Mad Dogs bringing home a podium, 77,000 ahead of Morge in fourth place there. Lars, 5,000 ahead of Toby, as he brings home fifth place, Toby in sixth. That is some absolutely crazy gaps as they battled all the way down to the line. And that was, well, a drive of the day performance from Willow, and I can't disagree. He's had a great race starting, I think, just outside the top 10. And bringing the car home in P2 at the end of the Grand Prix. But what a race it's been for Evan as well. Picking up the race win. And he can be very proud of himself on that one. GT10 Mad Dogs coming home with the podium, making it work on the last lap of the race as he made the move on Mortar, I think happened at the end. That was some beautiful racing, so many different strategies at play throughout the 25 laps there, and it all culminates with a late safety car. Some pit stops onto intermediates, and then just some really, really nice battling. A couple of incidents, which I'm sure will go out in the stewards' room, so we'll see how that affects the finishing order. But for now, we already went through the top 6, so I'll go through the rest of the results. Boom here in 7th, then we have Daniel in 8th, Alex Lamar's in 9th at the end, and IRT 8 after an incident late on in the race, only able to bring home a P10. Batista in P11, and then Dave Martinez, he's still classified in 12th. And then Sanic, Fana Spinoza and Kevin DNFing inside the points. We'll see what gets it done with that. Lumi in 16th and Ryan Bunning in 17th. Also DNFs for those guys. That has been the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in the F Notal Esports division. And, well, what a race that was. So many strategies, like I said, at play. Really, really interesting to see that all unfold. And I would like to thank you all very much for watching this race. Gabri, any final words from your side?
Just have to agree on the driver of the day being awarded to Willow. That was an amazing drive, just being knocked out in Q2, and then all of a sudden, within all of that chaos and all of that unpredictability, fighting for the win at some point, which unfortunately only ended up in a P2, but I think he can still be very proud about that one. And I mean, yeah, what a race. We would expect that it would be so unpredictable, and we were not disappointed at all. So it perfectly fits as an ending to the Middle Eastern tour. So I cannot wait to see how the European tour will start next week. It will start with Imola, and with so much great racing we've seen between all 3 rounds, I definitely cannot wait to be back commentating.
Well, thank you. That was some very good final words. I'm glad I asked you for those. And yeah, like Gabri said, next week will be our next race, Imola. The European tour of the season will begin with, and that should be very exciting. Imola always producing some really good racing, I think, on the F1 game. We might see some track limit penalties as well, so look out for that. That should be... yeah, I mean, we saw quite a few earlier in the F1 season in Division 2 and 1. Both... well, I mean, we
did see someone getting disqualified for track limits.
Yeah, that's the level we got to. I don't think we'll see that in esports. I think these drivers should be of a higher standard than that. You would think. You would hope that these drivers are not like Jonathan, but who knows? But yeah, even on a level like this, I mean, we saw quite a few drivers with penalties today, and the track limits in Imola are incredibly strict and incredibly tough. So that would be really, really interesting to see how the drivers deal with that. Yeah, we'll see you in 7 days for the Imola Grand Prix. No Division 2 or Division 1 race to advertise for once. The season is over, so I'll advertise next season instead if you want to join our regular league, this is the perfect time. You can get involved in the title fight right from the beginning. So yeah, look out for that. The F1 sign-up channel on our Discord is open. And yeah, hope to see you all again next week for the Imola Grand Prix. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.